What's up, guys? I'm Dave, the Military Millionaire, and I wanted to talk to you briefly about the difference between a buyer's market and a seller's market in real estate so you can kind of understand some economic cycles here. I wrote a full article on this, and I was going to do what I do sometimes where I throw it up on the teleprompter and I read it off to you guys, but I just realized that saying seller's market 500 times and then buyer's market 500 times and going into all those details, it's really just it's just boring. So if you want to read the full article, it'll be on the website. It'll dig a lot deeper into the ins and outs of what creates a seller's market and a buyer's market. But this is just going to be a brief overview of the difference so you can kind of spot when one's coming and when one's going, and it'll help you with market maybe not predictions, no one can really predict the market, but it'll help you understand cycles and help you just be a little bit more rounded of an investor or understand some different negotiation strategies and cycles and tactics. If you want more information on all of this, I did put a video out on a book I read about the real estate market, and it talks about the 5 things that you should be keeping a pulse on in order to kind of evaluate your market and decide if it's time to sell or time to buy or whatever. So make sure you go find that video. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash that like button if you get something out of this, and we're going to just dig in, right? So real quick, the difference between a buyer's market and a seller's market, to make it really simple, is in a buyer's market, the buyers have all the power, and in a seller's market, the sellers have all the power. So right now in 2021, we are in an extreme seller's market. There's extremely low inventory, right? So with supply and demand, when there's a lot of supply and not a lot of demand, then you're looking at a buyer's market because buyers have so much supply and there's not so many buyers, so they can negotiate really hard to get one of these guys to sell. In 2021, there's a very low supply, very, very, very low inventory, and a high demand because there's low interest rates. People are qualifying for mortgages, so they can afford to buy these houses, but there's just not a lot of options. And so the sellers have the power because they know, hey, there's 10 buyers for every house on the market, right? So that's kind of the difference, supply and demand. In a seller's market, you're going to find yourself with limited inspection periods. Maybe you're going to have to do appraisal gaps where you say, hey, if the appraisal comes in $20,000 lower than what we're under contract, I'm still going to buy the house. I'll come out of pocket for that $20,000. I'm seeing appraisal gaps of $40K in San Diego and some other crazy markets. I even just saw a friend of mine just sold a house last week for $77,000 over asking price with no inspection, no appraisal, 21-day closing. I mean, it's nuts, right? So that's a seller's market where it's super competitive to get an offer made. You're going to have to be coming in cash or, even with the VA loan, it's still possible, but you got to come in with appraisals waived, inspections waived, contingencies. You've got to come in with a very competitive and compelling offer or a story that really catches the seller's attention in order for them to agree to sell to you. On the flip side, a buyer's market, when there's a ton of supply and a very low demand, you can really negotiate. So you can have incredible inspection periods, all the appraisals, all the financing contingencies, all kinds of contingencies. And you can also say, hey, I want you to cover the closing costs and fees. And hey, I want you to, repair the roof and repaint this part of the house. And I want, you can get away with a lot more in negotiations because there's just less purchasing power and there's a lot more houses on the market. So sellers who are wanting or needing to sell are going to be much more compelled to play ball with you. I mean, that's the overarching difference. The reality here is just understanding that as inventory goes down, it's more of a seller's market. As interest rates go down, buyers can purchase more homes, so that also contributes to kind of a seller's market. When the market's kind of up at the peak, right, that's more of a seller's market. So it's kind of like this cycle where it's seller's market, buyer's market. When prices are, when the feeling in the market is, people aren't really optimistic, they're pessimistic, it's more of a buyer's market. When it's more of an optimistic, the market's doing great, it's more of a seller's market. So that's the real quick down and dirty overview. I don't want to make this super complicated. It's really not that complicated. If sellers have all the power, you're going to have to bring your A game to buy a house and negotiate or find off-market deals, which I have made content about and happy to help you learn how to do. And when buyers, when there's a ton of supply and it's a buyer's market, buyers have all the power, which means that you as a seller are going to need to either concede a little bit or you're not going to sell your house for the same price you want because you really can't just, hey, it is what it is. That's the difference. Super quick, down and dirty. Hope you got something out of this. Comment down below, let me know what you got, and have a great day. Oh, and subscribe.